Have you ever considered the power that resides in your brain to shape your perceptions and decisions? It's an intriguing question, isn't it? We're here to dive into the fascinating world of brain manipulation, a dark corner of psychology that has a profound influence on our everyday lives. Our brains, the command center of our being, are surprisingly susceptible to manipulation. This powerful organ, capable of complex thoughts, feelings, and actions, can be subtly influenced, altering our perceptions and decision-making processes. Throughout this video, we'll explore the science behind brain manipulation, delve into real-life case studies, and discuss strategies to protect yourself from such influences. We'll examine the Stanford Prison Experiment, the advertising industry, and the role of awareness in combating manipulative tactics. So buckle up for a journey into the depths of your mind. If you think your thoughts are entirely your own, prepare to question everything. Our brain, a 3-pound universe within our skulls, is a wonderland for manipulation. It's a complex network of billions of neurons, each capable of making multiple connections, making it the perfect playground for subtle influences. To understand brain manipulation, we must first delve into the realm of neuroscience. Each part of our brain has a unique function and responds to different stimuli. The prefrontal cortex, for instance, is responsible for decision-making, planning, and social behavior. When manipulated, it can alter our choices and how we interact with the world. The limbic system, another crucial part of our brain, governs our emotions and memories. Manipulation of this area can trigger emotional responses, shape our perceptions, and even implant false memories. Now let's talk about neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers of our brain. They play a significant role in brain manipulation. Dopamine, known as the feel-good neurotransmitter, is often exploited in manipulation. When we experience something pleasurable, our brain releases dopamine, making us seek out that experience again. By controlling the release of dopamine, one can influence our behaviors and preferences. Serotonin, another neurotransmitter, regulates our mood and social behavior. An imbalance of serotonin can lead to mood disorders, making us susceptible to manipulative tactics. Then we have oxytocin, often referred to as the love hormone. It plays a crucial role in trust and bonding. Manipulation of oxytocin levels can affect our relationships and the trust we place in others. It's fascinating, isn't it, how these tiny molecules have such a profound impact on our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. But brain manipulation isn't just about exploiting neurotransmitters, it also involves understanding human psychology, exploiting cognitive biases, and using persuasive techniques. It's a complex interplay of various factors, working together to shape our thoughts and actions subtly. In conclusion, our brain, while an extraordinary organ, is susceptible to manipulation. Its complexity and the myriad ways in which it responds to different stimuli make it a prime target for influence. It seems our brains are more malleable than we might like to admit. Let's delve into a real-life instance where brain manipulation played a significant role, the infamous Stanford Prison Experiment. In the summer of 1971, a psychologist named Philip Zimbardo conducted a groundbreaking experiment at Stanford University. The study aimed to investigate the psychological effects of perceived power, focusing on the struggle between prisoners and prison officers. Zimbardo and his team selected 24 male students who had no criminal background and were considered physically and psychologically healthy. They were randomly assigned to either play the role of a prisoner or a guard. The prison was set up in the basement of the Stanford Psychology Building, and the prisoners were unexpectedly arrested at their homes, complete with handcuffs and a ride in a police car. This served to enhance the reality of the situation. The guards were given uniforms, batons, and mirrored sunglasses to prevent eye contact. What happened next was a chilling demonstration of brain manipulation. The guards quickly embraced their roles, enforcing authoritarian measures and subjecting the prisoners to psychological torture. The prisoners, in turn, passively accepted psychological abuse and, at the request of the guards, willingly harassed other prisoners who attempted to prevent it. The experiment, initially intended to last 2 weeks, was terminated after just 6 days due to the disturbing behavior demonstrated by the participants. This wasn't just role play. The experiment demonstrated how easily individuals could be manipulated into certain behaviors when placed in a particular context. The guards began to act in ways they would not usually behave, and the prisoners accepted their treatment as a normal part of their situation. The Stanford Prison Experiment is a stark reminder of how susceptible we are to external influences and manipulation. It shows that when we are placed in a certain role, environment, or situation, Our brains can be manipulated to accept new norms and act in ways that may be contrary to our usual self. This experiment shows how easily our brains can be manipulated, even when we're fully aware of the situation. Every day, you're exposed to one of the most pervasive forms of brain manipulation: advertising. Let's delve into this a bit more, shall we? The advertising industry is like a master puppeteer, pulling the strings of our minds, shaping our desires, and influencing our choices. But how do they do it? Let's look at some of their most common techniques. First, there's the repetition technique. Ever noticed how certain slogans or jingles keep popping up in different ads? That's not by chance, it's a calculated move. The more you hear something, the more likely you are to remember it. And the more you remember it, the more likely you are to buy it. Then, we have social proof. This technique relies on our inherent need to fit in. Advertisers often use testimonials or show large groups of people enjoying a product. We see this and our brains tell us, if everyone else is doing it, it must be good. Next up is scarcity. This is when advertisers use phrases like limited time offer or only a few left in stock. It creates a sense of urgency, causing us to fear missing out and compelling us to act quickly. Lastly, there's emotional appeal. Advertisers are adept at tugging at our heartstrings. They create narratives that make us laugh, cry, or feel nostalgic. These emotions create a strong connection between us and the product or service, making us more likely to purchase it. So, how does all of this tie into brain manipulation? Well, these techniques are designed to bypass our rational thinking and tap into our subconscious minds. They play on our emotions, our fears, our desires, and our need to belong. They manipulate our brains into wanting products or services, sometimes even ones we don't need. Next time you feel an urge to buy something, ask yourself, is it you who wants it, or is your brain being manipulated? It's a fascinating question to ponder, isn't it? Now that you understand the power of brain manipulation, how can you protect yourself? The key lies in three main components: critical thinking, self-awareness, and education. Let's break these down. First, critical thinking. This is your ability to analyze information objectively and make a reasoned judgment. It involves the evaluation of sources, such as recognizing potential bias or the intent behind the information. Remember, in the world of brain manipulation, not everything is as it seems. To combat this, ask questions, demand evidence, and don't take everything at face value. Next, self-awareness. This is all about understanding your own thoughts, emotions, and reactions. By being more in tune with yourself, you can better detect when something external is attempting to sway your internal equilibrium. For instance, if you suddenly feel a strong urge to buy a product after seeing an advertisement, take a moment to reflect. Is this a genuine need or desire, or has your brain been subtly manipulated? Lastly, education. Knowledge truly is power in the fight against brain manipulation. The more you know about the tactics and techniques used to influence the mind, the better equipped you'll be to resist them. This involves learning about psychological principles, biases, and persuasion tactics. But don't stop there. Educate yourself about the world around you. Understand the political, social, and economic forces at play. These all have a role in shaping the information we receive, and thus, the way our brains process that information. Remember, brain manipulation isn't always sinister. It can be as simple as a well-crafted advertisement or a persuasive speech. But being aware of how your brain can be influenced is a powerful tool in maintaining autonomy over your thoughts and actions. In conclusion, protecting yourself from brain manipulation is a continuous process. It requires constant vigilance, self-reflection, and a commitment to learning. But it's a journey well worth undertaking. After all, isn't the freedom to think for oneself one of the greatest freedoms we have? Knowledge is power, and understanding how your brain can be manipulated is the first step to protecting yourself. We've journeyed deep into the realm of brain manipulation, a topic as fascinating as it is disconcerting. We've navigated the contours of this psychological landscape, from understanding the science behind brain manipulation, to examining real-world examples like the Stanford prison experiment and the advertisement industry. Throughout this journey, we've uncovered the invisible threads that pull at our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. We've seen how these invisible forces can be harnessed, for better or for worse, to shape our perceptions and actions. But most importantly, we've emphasized the power of awareness and education. By understanding these forces, we can protect ourselves from unwanted manipulations and navigate the world with greater autonomy and clarity. Awareness is our best defense against manipulation. It allows us to recognize when our thoughts, feelings, or actions are being influenced, and gives us the power to choose our own direction. Do you remember the last time your brain was manipulated? With this new knowledge, you might be better equipped to answer that question in the future.